Hello, I'm Jim. I'm NC.
I'm Courtney. I'm NC.
I'm Ashley. I'm NC.
I'm Paul, and I'm NC. Life is about what you make of your opportunities, and to that end, I present our essence statement, otherwise known as North Carolina's value proposition. North Carolina is a state of life, a proud collective community forged from our history and building an enhanced future. From first in flight to a leader on the information highway, North Carolina encourages businesses, residents, and visitors to explore the opportunities of the great state and its people. For a day or for a lifetime, you're always welcome. North Carolina's history has always been rooted in innovation and adaptation and taking hold of opportunities that are presented to it. Once known as the Rip Van Winkle State, Rip Van Winkle has certainly awakened. For in the past, the state economy that relied on tobacco is no longer the case. And it has also gone from the good road state to first in flight to the forefront of information technology. On the education forefront, the University of North Carolina was the first state university and has fostered a rich higher education tradition that has continued today through its 16 constituent campuses. As far as cultural influences, North Carolina was the birthplace of NASCAR, with its roots in the drivers that ran bootleg whiskey during the Prohibition era in the Appalachian region, and it has now become the second most televised sporting franchise.
From this rich history, North Carolina has created its own brand personality with these key traits: welcoming, friendly, adaptive, vibrant, lively, and proud. Overall, the people that live in North Carolina are well-rounded from diverse areas of the country. They are welcoming, friendly, they want to work with you, adapt, live, learn, grow. Adaptive is a key trait we've mentioned and we will focus on during this presentation. As we mentioned earlier with tobacco, it is still the #1 tobacco producing state in the United States, North Carolina. But in 2009, the American Lung Association applauded North Carolina as the first tobacco growing state to prohibit smoking in restaurants and bars. Also in the past, the state was reliant on the textile industries. That has changed now and adapted to pharmaceuticals, research and development, and manufacturing, which is a unique trait compared to other states in this nation. Data centers such as Google in Charlotte. Amazon is looking at possible fulfillment and customer service centers as well. The arts, NASCAR, beaches, college sports make it a vibrant environment for people to live and work. There are things to do, things to explore, experiences to take in. Be lively, live your life, enjoy yourself. Also, it is a proud state with our deep cultural history, the local cuisine with the East and West barbecue, the universities. I'm a Tar Heel, I'm a Blue Devil, I'm a Pirate. Those are very things to be very proud of in the state of North Carolina. Also in the professional level, people are proud of the Hurricanes, people are proud of the Panthers, people are proud of the Bobcats. Now we're going to address the target audience that you need to focus your brand on and deliver these promises. These are the businesses, residents, and visitors. The businesses, from starting a company to growing and expanding, you can look at the population growth and the diversity of people for a workforce as well as a consumer base. North Carolina has 3 major combined statistical areas with over 1.6 million, which include the Metrolina area, the Triangle, and the Triad. There's been a large growth in diversity with immigrants from India, Southeast Asia, Latin America, people from the Northeast, people from Florida, people from California. This natural growth and net migration help for a workforce as well as a consumer base, and the current population density will allow for continued growth. As you can see in this chart, in the 1990s, there was a steep uprise in the population growth. In 2030, it should rise to 12.3 million. Looking at top states to do business, from a CNBC report, North Carolina ranked 12th, and a Forbes report ranked 4th. In the CNBC report, North Carolina did very well in its rankings in number 3 in workforce, number 10 in technology, number 15 in access to capital. Looking at other states though, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. We're doing well, but we need to maintain that and continue to deliver that promise of opportunity. Another thing that should be considered for business growth is that North Carolina is the smallest union in the country, which allows for 19% lower cost. This is an opportunity for businesses to expand their margins. When you look at other states' brands, such as New York with their tagline, "Open for Business," this isn't true. They're not delivering on this promise. With their high tax burden, the workforce not as educated, higher unions. And this is shown in these rankings where they are 35th. When you start a business, there are opportunities in North Carolina. From a U.S. Chamber of Commerce report on enterprising states, North Carolina ranked 12th. Maryland, Virginia, Texas, Georgia, and Florida were higher. But North Carolina, through the NC IDEA grants, are allowing for growth in information technologies, material sciences, medical diagnosis and devices, green technologies, very high growth opportunities. The universities, we all know, are amazing, which allows for incubators as well as technology transfer. And these are shown in the rankings where by states it was the 4th in academic R&D and integrity. Also, they were top 20 for business birth rates and STEM job growth. When you consider the residents, the cost of living is low. It's not great. It's 20th out of the 50, tied with Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, a little less. But when you factor in other things such as the geography and climate, that makes up for it. We're in the top 10 for best weather all year round. You can look at comparisons between Cape Hatteras, where it's warm and wet, and Asheville, where it's cool and dry. There's a difference of about 10 degrees in the winter. But in the summer, low to mid 80s. And despite these differences in locations, they each get about 60% sun. When you think of the residents, you need opportunities to learn and grow. Not only to bring in people to the state and keep them, but also to keep their children. North Carolina has top 5 schools in digital librarianship and archives, social work, clinical psychology, nursing, pharmacy, physician's assistants. It's amazing what opportunities are there. The K-12 educational market is something that needs to be addressed, with some low rankings out there. However, the American Legislative Exchange Council ranked North Carolina 7th based on state academic standards, private and charter school choice, as well as teacher quality. But from a state level, they received a C, which is 28th for their educational policies. This is something that needs to be addressed and looked at to deliver that promise for opportunity. When you think of residents and visitors, you need some culture there to make sure people are happy and bring people in. The DPAC is currently ranked the 4th best theater in the United States. College sports are amazing. The Battle of the Blues between Duke and North Carolina is the number 3 ranked rivalry in the country. Also, at Fort Fisher, a top 20 aquarium. Musical ties are something that you can focus on in North Carolina as well. Tennessee's brand is The Stage is Set for You, with their Grand Ole Opry and their musical tradition. But North Carolina has deep ties in bluegrass and southern soul, with such bands as Liquid Pleasure, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Chairman of the board, while not from North Carolina originally, they came here in the early 80s, took the opportunity to grow, and are well known for their Carolina Girls song. From American Idol in the pop culture area, Scotty McCreery, Clay Aiken, Kelly Pickler have done well and represented North Carolina. The lifestyle for residents and visitors. I mentioned earlier the beaches and the mountains, but the rankings show that. The Outer Banks, the best family beach vacation in the U.S. The Biltmore, travel to a whole new state of mind, which does follow along with our state of life motto. It was voted top 10 in favorite architecture. And actually, the Biltmore is America's most visited winery. It's not in Napa, it's at Biltmore with 600,000 annual visitors. And speaking of wines, in the Yadkin Valley region, it is actually the top 25 region by size for special soil and climate required for grape growing, as a viticultural center. Where else can you go from the beach to the mountains in one day? South Carolina, Virginia, very different for bringing in visitors. South Carolina is more commercialized with south of the border, Myrtle Beach. More relaxing in North Carolina. You can enjoy your life. Virginia, with the winds from the Gulf Stream, Their beaches aren't known to be relaxing or enjoyable.
Thank you, Jim. And now that we've talked about the methodology behind our branding ideas, let's speak a little bit about the implementation. To implement our brand, it has to start from within the state itself. Because if your constituents aren't on board, then how can you expect to convince outsiders and those outside of the state? We need to let people know that we are all in with this branding campaign. Because of that, we need to let them know that we are proud of our state of life. Like a lifestyle brand, such as Harley Davidson, to be a part of the exclusive lifestyle, you have to be a stakeholder. You have to own a part of the state to flaunt it like a badge, like you do with a Harley Davidson motorcycle. The premise behind this is the I'm NC campaign. I'm NC is a declaration of a common bond with the tagline, a state of life. The imagery states that I'm proudly a part of a state that offers all of this to foster a way of life that I find vibrant and fulfilling. Don't you want it too? This suggests something that is undoubtedly only attainable through some tie to the state. To do that, we've come up with a logo. Now, to quote Don Draper from Mad Men, make it simple but make it significant. And to quote Da Vinci, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Therefore, we've decided to use a logo that is non-intrusive, gaudy, or overly ornate. One that resembles something that you're pretty much familiar with. Those are the university logos that you see branded on vehicles around the state. And if you've noticed, the unintrusive logo that's been on each of the slides at the top, it states, a state of life, I'm NC, and then the state of North Carolina. Now a question, who do we target with this? One of the obvious answers is, who are the proudest people? So who would be some of the proudest brand ambassadors? That would be sports fans. North Carolina sports fans are true to their teams. This campaign would reach local enthusiasts with customized color stickers and also modifications of the logo so that it incorporates their favorite team's icons on them as well. For example, we would have ones with the university logos. We'd also have the ones that include the professional teams, such as the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Charlotte Hornets. Again, these trademark icons would require a small fee for the stickers, but again, all of the purchases would go back into the campaign. Just as we're able to customize the logos for the sports teams, we're also able to target those with roots and traditions contributing to the North Carolina economy, such as those in textiles, agriculture, or business. Again, the logos would be used so that they can put them on their cars or their window fronts. And we also don't want to leave out those who are native North Carolinians and also those who are transplants. And of course, we cannot forget our military. So customized logos would also be made for each of the different armed forces that serve in the military in North Carolina. So picture this, a marketing campaign on TV that features people from diverse backgrounds of education, race, political affiliation in a commercial stating two simple words, I'm NC. These would include local coaches, local pro players, and local restaurateurs. The idea is that people would look at these and be interested, but not exactly know who these people are. Some would be faces that are readily recognizable, such as Michael Jordan, but others would not, and it would drive them to the website to find out who these people are. By driving them to the website, it drives them there to explore the brand and the campaign further. And of course, we can't leave out social media. Again, who was the last person on that latest commercial? Find out at Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Also, we can run campaigns on Twitter such as where to eat, local restaurant specials, local events, or start an I'm NC group on LinkedIn. Again, the possibilities are endless. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you again for listening to our proposal. We're Gen XY and I'm NC.